You were anticipating that, okay. I asked LeBron on the court, but AD, when you're in a possession where you have to get a stop, what are the things that you're most focused on, and how much of it has to do with the opponent, and what do you guys go to in those settings?
I feel like this team's a little comfortable early in the game, got their confidence. They got some guys that can make plays. Kevin Porter, Christian Wood, Jalen Green, shoot the ball. Marnie Brooks played tonight, who can shoot the shot the ball. DJ Augustine, and they all got hot. They made shots tonight. Didn't make a lot of shots on Sunday. And when you got a young team like that with no conscience, like I say, you really don't expect to win. Is just go out there and hoop. And they made a lot of shots. And late game when you try to get a stop, you just don't want to. Depending on the time scoring situation, you don't want to give up a three in our case. And Jalen made a tough ass three, over me, 6 feet away from the 3-point line. So, we just don't want to give up threes in that situation. But we're able to come out with the win.
Have you ever seen that situation where points come off the board? And I think and how was that explained to you guys?
It's at the scoreboard had 14 fouls. They saw 4 when they called the foul, which means it was the 5th, and they shot 2 free throws. And when they went back to look at it, it was only the 4th team foul. They put it up there right away, so it was really 4. And so they took the 2 points away. But what me, Bron, and Coach were explaining to the refs, well, we lost a possession. We didn't take the ball out or anything. We shot free throws, take points away. Now we just lose the entire possession, which could have cost us the game. So, they were saying there's nothing they can do about it and stuff like that. So, good thing it didn't hurt us, but, yeah, that was a funky situation.
LeBron, yesterday evening you jumped on Twitter to announce how excited you were to play in today's game. What struck you in that moment, and did you feel like not only yourself but other members of your team brought a little extra energy, excitement to the court tonight?
I just felt like I had a great 48 hours after our game on Sunday, as far as my preparation, as far as my ankle, as far as me getting back to feeling like myself. And I was also happened to be watching the Monday night game, watching Pat Mahomes throwing the ball sideways on the side of defenders running at him, and also watching a bunch of NBA games as well at the same time. So, the competitive juices just started flowing. So that's when I sent the tweet out.
LeBron, there was that segment in the fourth quarter. You scored 10 straight. Was there something you just were feeling? Was there a matchup you liked or a look that you liked in particular?
No, it's just about the moment. Just loved the moment and just tried to make the best plays to help our team win. And at that point in time, it calls for me to score, and I was able to bring us a few buckets at the time.
AD, I know you guys keep saying this is all about your team, but you just played those guys on Sunday, and they challenged you guys really hard. What did they do to your defense to make you guys know you have to get better at that?
Like I said, they made shots tonight. All their guys shot the ball well. That whole starting 5 shot the ball well. And their guys off the bench. So, hats off to them. Like I said, it's a young team that's coming in and just playing with a lot of freedom. And they got guys who can play. And on Sunday, they didn't make a lot of shots. And tonight they did. And, we just try to play as good as defense as we can and take the ball out if they make it and run, and score right back. So it was just a matter of trying to, contain those guys, And then, like I said, I feel like they got really comfortable to start the game. And kind of just gave them that confidence throughout the course of the game.
Offensive game together, but let's get your comments first just on the overall game. Fish, I'll start with you. 23 fast break points, 78 points in the paint, season high. They've turned the Rockets over 52 times in the last few days, but still that one came down to the wire, and Houston did have a chance to win. Not their best defensive performance.
Yeah, not their best defensive performance against a really young team that, some self-inflicted, wounds and turnovers that the Rockets made. But after giving up 70 points in the first half, the Rockets only scored 47 points in the second half. And so it's going to sound like a broken record, but that is the only recipe for success with this team. Right now, they don't shoot it well enough from long distances to get into offensive battles against teams. So they're going to have to be a team that can hold teams to 100 or less, score 110, and walk away with the game. It starts getting into 120, 125. I don't know if that's the way the Lakers want to win games this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't want to give up 35 points in 2 quarters, but, you want to take your hat off to something that was 19 points, as Fish said, and the third was something they need to concentrate on. Out of the 4 quarters that they had, they can concentrate on that. I thought, they did some good things. Like you said, Gita, they dominated in the paint when they needed to. The Rockets turned the ball over more than the Lakers did, but the Rockets scored more points off the Lakers' turnovers. So that was something they needed to take a look at. I think they scored 26 points off the Lakers' turnovers.
16 threes.
Yeah.
Also, they hit.
Yeah, it's work in progress still, but you want to hang your hat on the defense in the third.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, the Lakers' pace is outstanding. I mean, they're fun to watch on offense. They're really cruising the ball up and down the court. The problem is if you don't get back on defense, and we saw a lot of that, especially in that first half. This team should not be scoring 70 points in the first half. All right, they were 26th in the league in points coming into tonight, but that's a product of you're almost outrunning your defense. You're so fast on offense. One player in particular, Russell Westbrook, he's bringing that attitude to this team. Fun to watch, but you got to get back on defense. You got to put teams like this away a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's also just being connected and being engaged on that end of the floor, right? In that first half, you're playing a Rockets team you blew out the night before and a couple nights before. So, listen, the big three, Brez, we've talked a lot about them. By far, their best offensive night together?
For sure.
Would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, look at the numbers, 30, 27, and 27. It doesn't get much more balanced than that. The thing I like also about Russ, really aggressive with his shot. In that last game against Houston a couple days ago, he had 1 free throw. That's not the Russ Westbrook style of play. Much more assertive tonight, going heavy to the basket. AD did what he had to do as well against a very undersized and inexperienced Houston front court, especially with no Daniel Tice in there. And LeBron, what more can you say about him? He really got going in that fourth quarter.
He really did. James, real quick on the big three, because I do want to talk about that fourth quarter. Well, you know what? Let's get there now. So LeBron's fourth quarter, 14 in the fourth big game, James, and he had that look. He had that motor. He was going downhill, hitting the fadeaway. He had it all.
Well, I was going to talk about Westbrook, what a threat he is, one-on-one, taking people all the way to the cup, going downhill. LeBron actually was on fire tonight. Whoever was in front of him, able to absorb the contact and finish at the rim. He had the outside shots when he wanted it, but that's not what he was looking for when he needed to score some points. He was trying to get the 2 and the old-fashioned 3 if he could. So very aggressive play. He and Westbrook are going to be hard to deal with if they can continue to collapse defenses like they're doing.
Yeah, and I thought LeBron played chess tonight with the Rockets defensively. Early in this game, he was assertive offensively. Like he wanted to show tonight that anybody questioning whether or not I was going to play, I'm here to play. Really good first half. And then in the third quarter, he really kind of took a step back. I think he only attempted 1 field goal in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, he stepped on the gas again. And it's really difficult mentally, more even than physically, to play that way. But he's still able to keep himself focused throughout the course of a game.
Something you picked up when we were watching, you talk about playing chess. The young Rockets were picking him up way too high. Yeah. And that is just not the way to play LeBron James.
No.
Because he got going downhill, and they had absolutely no answer.
Yeah,
and once he's going, it's over.
Not at all. Yeah. If your shell has to be really, really tight when you play against LeBron, similar to Giannis and other guys that are great getting downhill. If you don't have a tight wall and shell defense, they're going to carve you up. The Lakers don't shoot the 3 well enough to not have shown LeBron more crowd. They were 6 for 25 from 3 tonight. But just things that, young players, they were fired up tonight. They thought they had a chance to beat the Lakers. They're picking up LeBron at half court. Yeah. And he's just going downhill, finger rolling it left side, right side every time in the fourth.
Before we go on, we